Hi, I'm Keiko at Wisteria Surrey Ranch, and today I am going to show you how to needle felt this earth angel with a step-by-step video tutorial. So I will be focusing on the angel in this video, and then I'll make a separate one for this basket in a bunny. And so this is actually, I would say, like a advanced beginner, although if you're super patient and you also get my size guide on my Etsy shop, and you have a lot of patience, it can be done even if it's one of your very early projects. But I do recommend you try my angel tutorial first. That one's a lot easier. And then I also have a fairy tutorial. So if you've done my angel and my fairy, this is gonna be like a perfect one. That'll be a little more challenging maybe, but really fun to make. Okay, so I'm going to cover the materials first. But let me just show you, if you do want to get more like a printed version of my pattern and tutorial, you can go to my Etsy shop and support me there. So this is the print version, and it's step by step. This way. And I have the online version of the same thing with bigger pictures, but just to save a little bit of ink, I have the print version as well. The print version is still like 10 pages, but hopefully it's a little less to print. That's the one I printed, and then I use the other one online. Okay, and then this one will also cover the material list in detail with images and just a lot of other options if you don't have the one I use. And the biggest benefit that a lot of people find in my Etsy PDF tutorial will be my size guide. So this shows you exactly like how long and then how much everything roughly weighs, the size for the head. Let's see, I'll show you all of them. Okay. So it takes a while to make, but this will really speed up your process. And then that's the bunny in the basket, which will be in a different video. Okay, so I'll fix that. So let me just go ahead and go over the materials with you. And if you're like, you know, wanting to get through this faster, you can go to the settings part and I think go like 1.25 or 1.5 times or 2 times, because I'm not gonna know how to edit all this stuff. I scoop poop with the alpacas, and then I do felting, and then I try to post the video and put it up, but there is no editor. Okay, well, I do a tiny bit, just in case like I make a big mistake. I try to add some stuff if I do make a big mistake. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling. Okay, so materials. Okay, so the finish weight, just so you have an idea, is about 2 ounces, and it kind of varies. So like she would be a little lighter, and I think she was about 1.8 ounces, and that comes out to about 60 grams. So, you know, maybe 50 to 60 grams. And that kind of gives you a rough idea of like the cost, because even your most expensive wool, generally, you know, we're looking, maybe Surrey alpaca, the alpacas I have outside, I probably have one of the more expensive fibers, but even still, you know, you're only looking at $6, $7 max per ounce. So the material fee in total, you know, if you multiply by 2 ounces, you're only, you know, looking at maybe $14 or so max. Granted, you'll have to buy it in different amounts, so that's where it's going to get a little tricky. And I do, okay, so for this one, since I was kind of building on my angel and fairy tutorial, I went with like my favorite material. So I will give you other options to use, but I kind of use like the best one for the best part, and you'll know what I mean when I start explaining. Okay, so you'll want a stick. Okay, so this is just chopstick. You can use a stick from outside, a wood, I don't know, in the craft section. These are like the disposable, although we don't usually dispose the chopsticks you can get from like takeout and stuff, or you can just buy chopsticks too. They come in slightly like, I mean, different sizes. Like this one looks a little thinner. I don't know if you can tell. a little longer. So the length is on your sheet, and I will give that to you. That way, you know, you don't have to buy the pattern, okay? So it's 7.5 inches or 19 centimeters. And again, it doesn't have to be exact, okay? So don't get too caught up on that. But I think I just cut that off. Okay, so that's that. And then you'll need some pipe cleaners. So this is already cut. This is going to be for the arm, and this is for the basket for the bunny. And so this is the longer one for the arm is 8 inches, 20 centimeters. The smaller one is 4 inches, 10 centimeters. And I just cut one. I was just being super efficient. So it was like, that's how I bought it, and then I just cut it. So you only need one. Okay. Yes. All right, next. Okay, so for the head, I'm just gonna pull this up so you can see. And I will try, so if you go to my website at wisteriasurreyranch.com and you look under needle felting tutorial and you go to this angel, or I'm sorry, earth angel one, I will try to have the material list there for you. So you'll, you know, even if you don't end up buying the tutorial for the size guide, you'll know exactly what I used, okay? So I'll try to remember. If not, you can just put it in the comments, okay? Okay, but you do have to buy these patterns because it took me a really long time to make, okay? So yeah, so I can keep the videos free, but helps if you can support me on Etsy. Okay, what was I doing? Okay, so the head. Okay, so the head. I actually love using smooth merino. You can use core wool, but this one I like because it's like in a nice smooth roving, and I just tie a knot, and I'll show you how I do that once I get started. But that's merino. You only need a little bit of this, about one, oh no, that's not the right thing. Hold on. 0.14 ounces or roughly 4 grams for the smooth merino. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I get you the best information, and I have like lots of paper here. Okay. Yeah. Good. Okay, and then I like to cover her face. Let me see if I can find her. In this really nice, smooth, shiny roving. And this, I actually use my Surrey Alpaca Beige Roving. Ooh, so pretty. So this is for the arms that I wrap and her face, okay? And it's only like 1 gram or 0.04 ounces. So, I mean, it's like this would be enough for both the face and the arm. So, like, you can see how it's just a tiny bit. And you can really use any pretty roving of skin tone. Okay, and then I might be getting ahead of myself, but I'm going to show you the hair. So this is Surrey Alpaca Locks, and I'm going to use this as hair. My angel tutorial and my fairy tutorial also have good ways to attach the hair, which I will do, but this one's gonna have a slightly different way I attach it because I just wanted to use gray, and this fiber just happened to be in a way so I can just sort of make a little wig and put it on. Okay, and you'll let me see. Okay, so that's the head, and then for the body I am using for this particular one baby doll sheep roving. So you can see how crimpy, spongy, bouncy it is. I love this because, one, we're going to be wrapping this stick, and so it helps that this is not slippery and smooth. I like that it has a lot of what I call grab, kind of. So this is what I use. Now you can use regular core wool that I use for most of my other projects. You'll probably find this very familiar. Okay, so this is the regular core wool bat. That one was roving. It doesn't really matter whether it's bat or roving because you can just cut, pull it into a strip and make it basically into a roving looking thing. Okay, but, and I made this girl with this just to kind of see how it works out. And it works well, but what you'll notice is this core wool that I generally have in my shop and use for a lot of my projects, it's a little like slippery. It's just the way the fiber is. So it doesn't grab this as well as the baby doll. So let me just sort of see if I can show you. So if you see it like this, see how it already like grabs really nicely because the fiber is grabbing onto itself too. But this one, you'll see like it tends to be a little more slippery, and then I've noticed like this tended to slip more. Again, you can totally do it. I did it. And if this is what you have, just use this, but just know that, you know, you'll probably have to be a little more patient and spend a little more time poking it in carefully without hitting the stick. I have yet to break a needle, so it can be done without breaking a needle. And I made like 4 dolls to just kind of prototype and then make sure my patterns work well. So I haven't broken one yet, so that's good. Okay, let's see. So we got the baby doll sheep, core wool, just such beautiful, beautiful fun fiber to work with. And then I did green and natural brown Corriedale. So these are Corriedale roving. This is really similar in texture to that core wool that I just showed you. And it's crimpy. It's a little smoother than the baby doll sheep. So it's just really anything that's easy and quick to felt is what I would recommend. So I use this brown for the base. After I wrap it with a baby doll, I add this to the top. So she looks more like she's like a tree or something. And then I did this so that in case it showed her, I wanted her skirt to show it, it would look pretty for her. Hers is fully covered except for the bottom, so it's really kind of up to you. It doesn't have to be this color. Okay, and then lamb locks. So these are lamb locks, green lamb locks, and I have, oh sorry, let me go back. Baby doll sheep is 0.74 ounces, although I didn't use this much. But I did end up using the same amount of the other kind of wool bat. I used about 0.74 of that one, but this one I ended up using a little less than 0.74, which is 21 grams. So, you know, always have extra. Always have extra. Yeah, and I'm sorry, let me go back. A green Corriedale wool is 0.15 ounces or 5 grams, and that's what I use. Again, be flexible. And the natural brown Corriedale wool for the skirt and the base, I use 0.25 ounces or about 7 grams. Okay, did I catch up to there? Yes. Okay, and then the lamb locks, this is 0.39 ounces, which is about 10 grams, and I rarely ever use it all, but I just love these things, and so I think I just put a lot of extra, so you don't need this much. Probably half would do. So this one, I actually bought... Okay, it's up there, but I'm not going to be able to get that down right now. So I just bought some lamb locks, baby sheep locks. I bought it washed from a fellow breeder. And since I don't have any sheep, I just have alpacas. And alpacas' fleeces don't look like this. So, so I just bought white, and then this I kind of experimented with and dyed it green. So hopefully I can remember. I used like about, so for about, I want to say like 1 or 2 ounces, this is only like 0.39, so maybe like double or triple this amount. I used maybe like 3 of the green, lime green, I think it was, 3 packets of the lime green, and I think 1 of orange. And that gave me that slightly lighter color, if I recall, or it was like, yeah, I think it's like that. And then I did another one which was like 2-2 or something like that, 1-to-1, like green and orange. And I didn't like it, and so I just added more like blue or some other color, and it came out a little nicer. So, you know, if you don't like the color, you can just dye over it. So start lighter and then go darker, and then you'll be good. And then you'll need some... this one was the pink for the flower, about like a 0.04 to maybe 7 ounces or 1 gram, whatever you want. It just depends on how much decoration you want. It really doesn't take a lot because, look, you get a cluster like this, but like you want to like pull it into little locks. And this might still be like too big for 1 flower, and then you'd have to like split it into 2. So see what I mean? Like you need like just a tiny bit. And you don't have to use lamb locks. You can use, you know, pearls or whatever, glue it on there or sew it on there. This, I honestly can't remember if I dyed it or I bought this dyed, but anyway. And then obviously I used blue for her. Okay. So, let's see, did I cover every material? So for the bunny, I'm going to do it in a different video, but just a quick thing. I just use, just so you, in case you're getting stuff. Okay, so basket color wool, it's about 0.07 ounces, 2 grams. Bunny wool color, 0.04 ounces or 1 gram. And then you just need like a pinch of black and, there we go. Pink for the nose. This is like way too much, like just, otherwise it just float away. So I have that little bit. And then you use whatever kind of is left from here. Okay, so hopefully I covered everything. I am going to do a close-up and I will see you shortly. Okay, so you'll want to do your pipe cleaner arms first. So you're going to make sure it's about, what did I say it was supposed to be? 8 inches, 20 centimeters. And then you're going to take a little bit of the beige roving. So I think it's like maybe 1/2 gram, just a little strip. And then we're going to be wrapping the arm, and this is the same as I do for my angels and fairies. So I like to start in the center. I mean, there's many ways to do it, of course, so this is just one way. And one key thing though that you do want to remember is you want to roll it flat. So you see how this wool is flat like this, okay? And you're just rolling on this. So you don't want to be twisting or doing anything like that. Otherwise, see, okay, so it's really nice and flat. Let me see if I can get a little closer. So you're just keeping it flat like that. And I'm actually drafting, which is just pulling it so that it doesn't get super thick in one area. Okay, so I'm just sort of rolling it, keeping it flat and tight, pretty tight, okay? All right, so now I got it going. I'm gonna go all the way to the end, as far as I can get, and then I'm going to be folding it right over where the hand is going to be, like that. Okay, like this. And then right there, I'm just going to wrap again right over it, okay? And then just keep going. Oh, okay, I'm going to have to draft or just sort of smooth it out a little bit so it doesn't get thick. Okay. And then I'm going to go back towards the center. Okay, so this is the part that's most important with this beige because I'm going to be covering the shoulder. So I'm just going to go a little light here so I can save my fiber. Okay, so I'm just rolling, 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 rolling. This. Okay. Okay, so I just flipped it over. We're just going to keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, so as I get towards the hand, okay, I'm going to be a little extra careful, make sure it's really well covered, and fold it right over. Oop. Okay. And then right at the fold, I'm going to make sure it's super nice and tight. This does take a little practice, so wrapping's not as easy as it might look. So you may want to practice a couple times on pipe cleaners. Okay, so then I'm just bringing it back. Now, depending on the fiber you use, if it feels like it's coming loose, you can just use your felting needle. This is a finer gauge needle. Poke, 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 poke to secure. But it should stay pretty good. Okay, so we got this far. Okay, next I am going to get my little bit of green. So this is where it's going to be my sleeve. So it's here. It's right here on both sides. So it's whatever color you want. Okay, so this is a little thick. Let me see. So this roving is like 2 inches wide. Can you see it? Okay. Or let's see. About 6 inches or 6 centimeters roughly. Okay, so that's going to be a little thick and a little hard to wrap, so I'm just going to like split it. Okay, might actually even split it one more time. Just a little easier to work with. Okay, depending on the fiber it might fall apart, but that's okay. Okay, so I got like little strips here. Okay, so then I'm just gonna go from the center, and then however long I want the sleeve. And then I'm just bringing it back. And the same idea, keeping it flat. I'm actually going to poke it in place a little bit to make it from falling. Okay. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and do the center too. Although this part's gonna be right under the neck, so it doesn't have to be, but I'm just gonna do it so it looks prettier. Okay, so wrap, 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 and then I ran out, so I'm gonna add more. I'm gonna go back a little bit and then wrap flat. So that's wrapping flat too. As you can see, I'm not twisting it. Okay, and then I like to wrap back towards the center. Oop, that just slipped, didn't it? Okay. And then we're gonna poke. And that should secure it in place pretty well. Okay, so now, it's a little extra. Now you can check against your size guide. Okay, so I'm gonna just put it like about the center, and I'm gonna bend it so you can see it easily. Okay, there. Ooh. It's really just the length. It doesn't really have to be exact. Okay, so, can't do it right. Okay. Like that, roughly. Okay. All right, so we got the hands. I'll just keep that here. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is the head. So we're going to take, let me go back, about 0.14 ounces or 4 grams of the merino smooth wool in a nice roving. You can also do this with bat, but I think this is just super easy. So I'm actually going to tie it into a knot. So I'm just holding it in my palm, wrapping it like this. Okay, over, and then I'm going to put it through. Okay. And then I'm gonna kind of look and see where the nice face is coming together. So just kind of have to fuss around with your hand. Okay. Okay. Oh, and I hear the train. So you'll start to hear my dogs going in a few minutes, but I have no way of editing that out. Okay, so like this, and sometimes you'll have less, that's okay. The key part that you want is this head part, the face part, okay? So as long as you got a good little knot there, you are good to go. Okay, so then I bring it like this, and you can just grab a little piece from the bottom like that, or you can just have a little bit somewhere else that you can get, and then we're going to secure the neck right here, just wrapping it around. Okay, and we are going to poke and secure, poke and secure. Okay, so looks like this so far, and you can sort of check it against the size guide. So it's about 1.25 inches going this way, or 3 centimeters. It's about 1.5 inches, 4 centimeters this way, and the circumference is roughly 4 inches or 11 centimeters. Is that right? 4 inches? I guess so, because it kind of goes around. Okay, but in case my numbers are off every once in a while. Just use your best judgment. Okay, so at this point, we're going to sort of take the needle and sort of poke it into shape, although this face turned out pretty nice from the get-go. Sometimes, you know, it'll be a little more lopsided, and that's okay. If it's lopsided, then this is your opportunity to poke into shape. You got one little sleeping dog here, but the other big dogs are in the other rooms. So, good boy, Cooper. You didn't bark. Did you remember Mommy said Mommy's recording? He's so cute. Okay, so I would actually spend a little more time normally to get this face a little tighter, but since we're doing a video and I want to keep moving, I'm gonna go ahead and do the next step. Okay, so this is any face color roving that you want. I love using Surrey because I have Surrey alpacas and it's very smooth. So I'm just going to show you one way to just kind of create a little pre-felt. So I'm just doing this, maybe one more. Okay, like that. And I have the fan going because it's kind of hot, so it's blowing away. Hope you can see that. Okay, so now I'm going, so we did one way, now I'm going crisscross, okay? Okay, kind of like that. Okay, and then I'm going to take this, put it in my palms, and rub it. So I'm actually giving it a little bit of pressure, downward pressure. Isn't that cool? And then once it starts to come together, I'm gonna be going in a circle, kind of like this. Okay, so I have to put a little bit of pressure. Okay. So cool. Okay, ta-da! Okay, so I'm gonna look for the kind of the prettier side. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put it on the head like this. And I'm first going to poke around the edges to get it in the head. Okay, so like this. And since I'm gonna put hair, I don't cover the back. I just cover like the face. Okay. Whoops, can you see that? So I'm just going all the way around first. All the way around, all the way around. Like that. Okay. Okay. And then once I do that, then I'm going to poke it in. And this is where you would want to use a finer gauge needle that's not going to poke big holes in your finished face here. And I think this is a fine gauge needle because I'm not seeing big holes. So usually I use a 38 gauge or a 40 gauge. 40 gauge is for finer fibers like Surrey alpaca. The 38 is all purpose. There is also 36 that I use, which is more for coarser fiber and it felts faster, but it does leave bigger holes. So, and most of my needles are not marked and they're in different rooms. So just poke and see what works. Okay. And they're like the cheapest ones. Like, I think they're the triangular. They got all these fancy ones like triangular and, no, triangular is the basic, I think. And they have like star and I don't know if they got spiral, but they got a lot of different fancy stuff. Okay, probably the cheapest one is just fine because that's the one I always buy and use. So, yeah. And you don't need a fancy felting tool. I do most all of my projects with one needle, and see, they don't really break as much as often as they appear, although this one got bent and I've been using it bent for a really long time. So yeah. they're really cheap and last a really long time, so, or at least that's my experience. Okay. Oh, and do notice that, you know, I don't poke super deep because this part is the only part that actually has the little barbs and tangles. And actually, if you look really closely, it doesn't even have any up here. So it's like the super little bit. So that's the only part you're going to be poking in, and that's the only part that's going to tangle anything. So if you go any deeper, like even if you went deep, like that deep, that's the only part that's tangling anything. So that's probably how a lot of people break the needle. They go super deep, and then they end up hitting the table. I have hit tables before too, but yeah, they didn't break. So maybe you just have to do it enough times. Okay, so there we go. Looks so good. Okay, all right, so next we are going to take, oh, let me go like that. Okay, so next you're just going to take the top up, and then we're going to put the arms in between and like this. So I like to go up like this so that we get it super tight. Not tight, okay. And then I hold it like that. And then we're gonna do the same thing where we get a little piece like that. That might not be quite enough. I'm gonna get a little bit more. Okay. And I'm gonna wrap this around like that. And you can really use anything here. You could probably even use a little piece of yarn. Okay, so I got that. And then I am going to poke. So this one I'm going to use probably a thicker gauge needle, but it's probably like a 38. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. Okay, so. Okay, I'm bringing her arms down because it's nice and tight. Okay, so this is what we have so far. And we got this. Okay, so I am going to actually pause for a moment and get my next supplies. Okay, so for the next part, you're going to want the part we just finished. You're going to need the wood stick. This pattern and size guide is super helpful. This is page 3. And then you're going to need some of the baby doll wool, baby doll sheet wool or roving or any core wool that you're planning to use. So for me, I used about 0.74 ounces or 21 grams of the baby doll sheet wool or core wool. It does depend a little bit. I have used less than this amount for some of the dolls, and then other ones I think I did use it all. So, and then these came in slightly thicker, wider roving, so I put it into slightly smaller strips so I can get the top part wrapped more easily. So I just sort of split the roving into like maybe 3 pieces. Okay, so all you have to do is lift the front, put the stick right up to underarm part. I guess you could glue it or tie it. I don't. So it doesn't go above right here. So you're gonna have to hold it pretty tight and securely until it sort of stays there. The reason I don't put it above here is so that we can angle her later if we need to and sort of position her better. Okay, so we are going to, hopefully you can see this okay, we're going to first wrap right under her arms. Okay, so we're going to wrap right under her arms once around like this. Pretty tight, okay, because this is going to secure the wood in place too. Okay, so that's pretty tight. And see how this isn't like slipping? Look at this, boing boing. Okay, awesome. All right, so then we're going to, from the back, we're going to go over her shoulder. Okay. Okay, got that. Okay, and then we're going to wrap back to center under arms again. Tight. And then the other shoulder. Over the other shoulder. Okay, so that's the first wraparound. Oh my goodness, I'm getting stuck everywhere. Okay, and then that's gonna have to go, hold on one second. Okay, and then it's gonna go under this arm, so There we go. And then I'm going to wrap around the belly once, twice. Okay, so that's what I have so far. And that secures it pretty nicely. Okay, so I'm going to, you can end it here once depending on how long your roving is, but you can also just go ahead and wrap it over. So now I'm just going to keep going because I have a longer piece. Wrap over, and then I'm going to just go right behind her head and come down the other side. Okay, and then wrap. And then this, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap all the way down. So maybe I should keep her arms out of the way. All the way down, down. Oops. Okay, so I'm doing this pretty tight, okay, so that she stays in place. Okay. And you'll notice that depending on the wool you use, this part's going to get a little slippery. Okay, so... Okay, so then I'm just going to secure it. Hopefully you can see. Secure, secure, secure. So just a little bit at the bottom. That's all I need to secure. And then I'm just going to make sure that's on good. Okay, so at this point she's not going to be slipping around. She's pretty tightly in there. Okay, so that's pretty secure. See? Boing, 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 boing. So if she slips off on you, you didn't quite get her secured up, okay? Alright, so... you can just sort of poke that in. We will be covering this with green or top color dress, so I'm not going to worry about that. Not sure you can see what I'm doing. Okay. All right, so that part's done. And then I'm going to go ahead and make this little wool base at the bottom so that this part isn't going to poke out. We really don't want any dolls with the stick poking out the bottom. So, just going to take a little bit of wool. That might be a little much. Okay. It shows you about 1 gram or 0.14. And this does not have to be this wool. It can be really anything because no one's ever going to see it. Okay, and then I'm just going to poke this into like a circular piece. Again, it doesn't even have to be exactly circular. It's just a little extra padding. We're going to add another padding with a brown when we add the skirt. So this is the first layer so that she'll be better balanced. We just can't have that stick poking out on us because that will not go well. All right, so it's not super neat, but that works. Okay, so that side's nicer. Okay, so then here we're going to put this in. I'm going to go ahead and fold it, and then we're going to, okay, so you know where your stick is. Okay, and then we're going to sew the edges like you would sew a hem or edges together. Okay. Okay, so I'm just poking without poking the stick. Okay, so that, and then I'm going to actually fold it. So this is on the back, and I'm just gonna fold this. Oops, okay, I did actually hit the table right now. Got a little excited. Okay, maybe I'll actually break a needle in one of the videos. That would be a first, actually. Okay, so I'm just doing this to get it out of the way. Okay. Okay, so it's okay if this looks like it's gonna slip out. You could secure it more, but I'm just gonna go on. So okay, so we got this, and then okay, these are my thinner strips, which is okay. Now we're gonna start wrapping, and then I'll show you how we wrap that. So right here, oop, there we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna wrap. So this is also, you want it flat, okay? Flat. So you're flat, 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 flat. Oops, now she's spinning on me. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna keep going, keep going. She's getting dizzy. Okay. And then, okay, this is where you want to make sure you secure this bottom nicely. Hold it in. I'm holding it with this other hand. And we're going to go like this and wrap that. Okay, so that doesn't look super pretty yet. Okay, so I'm just gonna hold it in place by, okay, so I'm on like the back side of the stick. So I'm doing both sides, but just not on the stick. Okay, so I'm just holding that in place. So it's not yet secure, but okay, this is what I have so far. And then we're gonna go with the next layer. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap again. So you can just wrap. And we're building this up, okay? So now I'm able to go all the way down. I mean, it still doesn't look quite pretty yet, right? But that's okay. Okay, so we'll poke that in place. So just a little bit. Okay. And then that still looks a little thick, so I'm just gonna do half maybe for this part because it's a larger surface area. I probably don't need to go much. Well, no, I think I'm actually gonna make it smaller. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go a little lower. And so the beautiful thing with this baby doll sheep wool is it really sort of sticks onto itself too. So it's going to require even less probably poking. And oh my gosh, these sheep are so cute. I did want one. You can't have one, but you know, I did want a few of these too, but okay, so there we go. Okay. Poke, 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 poke. Okay. So if you're using other fiber, you're probably going to be needing to poke a lot more. This felt so quickly and fast that I'm not having to do a whole lot right now. But when I was working with the other core wool that's a little more like smooth and kind of a pretty looking one that you can actually just use for almost like a finished product, that one I was having to do a lot more poking. So yeah, it'll just depend on what wool you use. Okay, so let's see, it almost sticks. Call it the Velcro wool. It's a real treat. It's actually, I try to see if the lovely shepherdess I bought this from a while back had a lot in stock, and she didn't. So, yeah. Might be a little harder to find right now, but maybe we should all get some baby doll sheep. That'd be fun. Okay, so then you're going to sort of check against, check against this and go, how am I doing so far? Okay, so I'm gonna need a little bit more here. Let's see if I can sort of show you. It's a little hard to see. Yeah, real hard to see. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Okay. And, you know, we'll be adding more layers, so it's okay if this isn't 100%, because we'll be adding another layer. Oops, sorry. Did I just go off screen? Okay, all right. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Okay. And part of the reason why I'm not doing a whole lot of poking right now is because we will have another layer on all of this, and it's, you know, when you do the top layer, it's going to obviously felt the layer right below it. So I'm kind of going to do it really light. And just kind of do more later, I think. Okay, let me check the camera. Okay, I think we're getting it. Okay. And you know, I was actually planning to pause this and do it, but you know, just get your cup of tea and you can just hang out with me here. Or you can just do this faster, right? So I'm not gonna worry about it. Okay. Okay, so you can just see. So one of the things I'm doing is I'm actually going at an angle. I don't know if you can see because sometimes, let me see, yeah. So the stick is here, right, in the center. So I'm actually poking kind of like at an angle. Can you see that? So I'm not like going towards, obviously, the stick, but I'm kind of going at an angle like that. And then I'm just twisting and turning the little doll around. Okay, so there we go. So this is what I have so far. And it's not perfectly even yet, and there's a little bit of bumpy places, but that's okay. And I think we're ready to add her top. Now her arms look a little low right now, but that's okay. Okay, so where's my green? Here's my green. Okay, so again, this can be any color, whatever you want for your top. So we're going to go ahead and add the top. Let's see, is that gonna be good? Okay, so you can do this several different ways, but I like the crisscrossing kind of way. So I'm just gonna go over her, let's see, her right shoulder. So I'm just gonna hold it right here in the center. Boy, hold on. There. No, my arms are all twisted here. Okay, holding it in the center. Okay, and then it's going over one arm. And then I'm actually going to do this one right over like that. So I'm just gonna cross, I can't see, like this. So it's gonna leave the back like that so far, but we can cover that in a minute. Okay, so let me go ahead and poke that in place. Okay, and she's also going to have additional decoration. I'm just gonna pull her shirt up. She's gonna have, like, you know, the flowers and the leaves, so don't worry too much if there's like a slightly lighter, less covered spot. You can always fix that later. Okay, so front's been poked. Oh, she's looking at the camera. All right, and then the back. Okay, I'm just going to poke, poke, poke. So her hair is going to be covering this a little bit too. So okay, so that looks pretty well covered. So now it's like her back. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and cover her back by, let's see. So I'm just going to put this, she keeps going off screen. Where are you going? Okay, so we'll put, like, let's say here. And then, actually I'm going to go further up. And then I'm going to cover the back and go to the front. Yeah, that's it. All right. See? Like that. And then when I poke, I'm going to make sure it covers fully. So let me just get... And just watch your fingers. Sometimes we're holding so tight. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, so here, if I'm a little worried, I might just like poke it going upwards to make sure the fiber is covering it. Yeah, that's good. Poke, 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 poke. There. Okay. So her top is done, And again, like if you want to, you can add more sleeve here, however you want to do this. You can see that this sleeve's a little less than this one, so you can even that out, but I'm actually not going to do that right now. Okay, so next one, oops, is I think the skirt. So let me just get my size guide skirt. Here's my size guide skirt. That way I can give you the right information. Yes, okay, so this is the base, which is right here, and then we just put strips on, and then you can kind of add the, oops, sorry, you can't see that. Okay, so I put little roving strips down, and then I put one across this way, and then I kind of mix it together with that. So you need 0.25 ounces of, or 7 grams of wool roving. This is Corriedale, which is really an easy, nice one to use. Yeah, so I think I'm actually going to create the base first. Let me see. Okay, so the base, we are looking at 2.75 inches or 7 centimeters, and it's a circle. So let me see. It's about like that. Okay, so I'm just going to go like that. Is that going to be thick enough? I'm gonna go like this, and then maybe just go like that or something like that. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so that's my little base. I'm just kind of poking a circle here. Okay, and then I think I'm just gonna like flip this one over and then just fold the edges, so that'd be really easy. Okay, so nothing to it. And again, this can be any color. It can be green. Bigger, like you can just fold it up later, so it's really not a big deal. So let's see how close I got it. Okay, so we got the base, and okay, my base is a little bigger, so you can make it smaller, but I'm just gonna go with this one. See, can you see? It's like so much bigger. That's okay. All right, so the base, we're going to just put her, so she's gonna go in the center. Yeah, it is a lot bigger, but that's okay. And then my first step, I'm just gonna sort of push the base of her white, you know, the core wool skirt in like that for now. Okay, and then I'm gonna pull it off, and then I'm gonna poke it in this way all the way around, making sure that I'm not getting the center part where the stick is. Poking. Can you see that? There, I think that's better. Okay, there we go. Okay, so yeah, that's going to be a little big, but that's okay. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the skirt kind of cover. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get roughly the same correct length up to here. Okay, so it's about like that long. So then I'm going to make like maybe 3 or 4 of these. So I'm gonna go 1, 3, 4, and that would be left over for the bald spots if I have any. Okay. And since I'm just looking for like really good coverage, I'm just going to sort of widen it well, and then I'm going to cover. So if you want to, you can just sort of fold the top like that, so it's a little cleaner, and then you can poke it in. Just be really careful with a stick. Yeah, I feel it right there, so don't shove it in. Okay, so again, if you go at an angle, that would work really well too. Okay, and then I'm just gonna poke the sides like that. Okay, like this. So this Corriedale is really nice and quick to felt into, needle felt in. See that? It's pretty quick. So just keep poking away. Whoops! Hitting that stick. And you know, depending on how much of the skirt you want, you can make her a little, you can double up on the skirt too. So I'm just going to poke that in here for right now. Okay, and then the back, I'm not gonna need much, am I? Okay, so I'm opening it up. Nice, nice, nice. Like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna fold. And I'm gonna, let me try that. Okay, actually I can't see. Poke, 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 poke. Okay, and then, oh wow, this side looks like we can get this side covered. Okay, so I got that side covered mostly, I think. Yep. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. Wow, okay, so this isn't taking a whole lot of strips. Okay. Whoopsie. Okay. There we go. Okay. And I get a little bald spot here, so I'm going to cover this. Okay, so I'm going to just maybe take a little bit here. Okay, and then go like that. There. I'm just going to cover her here. This is so nice and relaxing. Yeah. Okay. All right, so you can spend more time to kind of clean that up and make it look a little more smooth and all of that, but I am going to keep moving. So now, okay. I'm just checking to see if she stands. She does, yay, so that's good. Okay, so I'm gonna take this extra strip and then put it on the base. So let me just make sure I've got enough to go around. Okay, so here we go, like that. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, go a little tighter. This will kind of help balance her a little better. Okay. All right, so here, can't tell. Okay, and this is kind of where you can see how I'm blending it into the base. See, like that. And then this area, I love to add extra locks, the lamb locks for decoration. So I don't mind if there's like a little line right now, because that part will probably all get covered with extra green locks. So okay, so you'll want to do it a little bit more, but you kind of get the idea. And see how, like, for her, I did mostly this whole area is all green. And then hers too, I just kind of see how right here on the bottom, it's all like covered all the way around. So that also gives her a little bit of a better balance. You can even make it where, I don't know if you can see, she's a little more flared out on the bottom of her skirt. You see that? So there's just so many things you can do with it. So okay, so let's keep moving. So again, if I were doing this like not on video, I would be cleaning it up a little bit more and poking everything in much more. But for right now, I think you get the idea totally. So we're gonna keep moving. Okay, so now she wants her hair. Okay, so let me make sure I got everything out of the way. Okay, so I've got, let me see. You can get rid of this one. And I think I got, sorry about that, give me 2 sec. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so for hair, I do have the other tutorials, and then in the bonus for the Etsy tutorial, just in case you haven't done my other tutorials, I do include a little extra PDF on how to attach single hair pieces and all of that. Also, there are my other 2 videos have more details, I think, on that too. Okay, so for this one, since I'm using Ellie's gray, and when I washed it, it kind of came together like this, I decided to sort of find a nice little place like this and sort of use it in pieces. So, so I'm looking at it going, oh, that might work. Okay, so I'm kind of using kind of like the naturally slightly, it's not fully felted, but kind of like stuck together. I'm kind of just utilizing that. The other ones show you how to do it like Purlock, how to attach it Purlock. Okay, so, ta-da! So I'm kind of like making a little wig, and then I'm going to position it, and it's going to look sort of sloppy at first, but you'll see you can style it quite a bit. Okay, so now she just looks like she's got a really bad hair day. That's okay. Okay, and then I will add more to the, sorry, back of her head too, but let me go ahead and just sort of secure this. So when I do it this way, and it just kind of depends on the wool I'm using, I stay super flexible and I just do it however the wool seems to want to be worked with. So this one, I'm just going to go straight on the top of her head, like a top line. Sorry, I was looking at it. Okay. Okay, so I got the top of the top of the head, okay. And then, let's see, that's pretty. Okay, and then I'm gonna kind of poke in the side, like that. So, kind of framing her face right now. Okay, framing her face. So she still looks like a hairy little monster. There. Oh, bad hair day. I just woke up. Okay, and then her back looks just as crazy. Okay, and then I'm going to gently take the hair and put some towards the back. Okay. So I'm just poking. Let's see. How are we doing here? Kind of like her natural foofiness. Okay. So I have, let's see, I know once you put the flowers in and get everything else in, it actually kind of looks pretty. Okay. So right now, okay, it's not quite done yet obviously, but I've got that on the front, and then see how I still have some bald spots here? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm then going to take like little smaller pieces. Again, this is a little slightly felted. Okay, so I'm gonna pull it apart like that, and then where's your little spot? Okay, I'm just gonna poke it in. And it really depends on the fiber you're using. I have the little how-to with the roving. Roving's really kind of probably the easiest. You can just take a piece of roving and kind of put it like a wig and be done with it. Again, you can look at my other tutorials. They have more details on the hair. This is sort of a little bit more for the advanced beginners. So I'm not going to go over every single way to do it. Okay, so here we go. And then I will be styling her hair in the back. Okay, so how am I doing so far? Okay, so we're gonna okay, so right now, so the back is good. no bald spots. So that's the first thing. I don't want any bald spots. And then the front is obviously not quite there. Okay, so now I'm going to start styling. Okay, and I see I'm about to run out of battery. Okay, so let me poke. Okay, I'm going to style the side first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist the back like this, and then just kind of poke it in like that. And then I'm going to have a pretty flower here. So it's going to look a little more natural, free falling, free. Okay. And I do spend a little extra time, you know, it takes a little bit of tinkering about. See, but that looks cute. Look at the hair on the back. Okay, so now I'm going to style her front because she doesn't look quite right yet. And then I will probably change my battery and be back. But I'm just going to let it cut out. Okay, and this is where you can actually use your needle and sort of like tease the hair forward if you want. Okay. And that's poking up. And you can always add a little bit more depending on what you want. Let's see, how do I want to style that? Okay. So I'm going to take a few minutes to clean her pretty face and hair up. And then this is also another time you can poke and shape the face. You can kind of see like that. And make sure. Okay. Let's see. She's looking pretty good. Okay. Oh, sorry. I went off screen. Alright, so I'm going to poke, 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 and I will be back. Okay, so this is my favorite part where we get to decorate her dress and finish her up. So first, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I'm just going to show you kind of based on this pattern. So I'm going to show you how to make these leaves. So I'm just taking a little strip like this. I'm actually just folding it in half like that. And then I'm going to do my little hand thing. Just rub it between my hands. Looks like this so far. And then I'm just going to poke towards this tip. So I'm just kind of bunching that together so you see how that's already bunched together. Okay, and then just going to poke into the shape of a leaf like that. And there you go, see? And you can just sort of re-rub it a little bit. And that tightens it up. And you can make like 5 or 6 or 7, how many ever you want. So I already made a few of these to speed it up. Okay, and then you're gonna want some lamb locks, or again, you can decorate it however you want. With these again though, you really only need a strip or a lock at a time. So I prefer to pull these into like locks like that, and that's just a lot easier to use in single pieces, so you can see where the tip end is and the cut end. And usually I like to dangle it so that this one's easier to see. The tip end goes down and the cut end gets attached towards the top, and it just kind of goes down. And then this is where you can also have some colorful locks that you can create into flowers. So these, all I really do is I take a little lock, and then I kind of scrunch it up and I just poke it in, and that's how I make my flowers. So that's all there is to it. Okay, so we got the lovely lady here, lovely earth angel. Okay, so she got her little hair done, looks a lot nicer. It's just interesting how everybody turns out so differently, different personalities. Okay, so let's see, she was, oh, okay, actually I want to show you something. So, okay, so you can kind of leave the skirt like this, like looking more like a little tree if you like it that way. Let me just put her off to the side. So if you want it more simple, then she just has like the locks. So this really takes very little bit of decorative material. So she just has a little lock on top and the kind of like the tree-ish look remains for your earth angel, and I just added a little extra on the bottom. And then she's got pretty little blue flowers. Okay, or let's see, she's got kind of full coverage. So she's got her little leaves, and then in between I have her completely covered in locks. So she looks a lot more like a, I don't know, like a lush forest. Okay, and you can do it in kind of different amounts. So she probably looks a little less locked up with her locks. And this is my very first one. She's a little shorter. She was my prototype. Where's the camera's over here, little girl. Okay, here. There we go. Okay, so yeah, it's not a very easy. You can't really see her too good. Okay, anyway, sorry. This is like a sideways video, and she's taller. Anyway, so this can be however you want. I do have a light guideline. If you just don't know where to start, you can just sort of follow along this. It just kind of goes with a flower. So I'm just going to take like a little piece, and then I go like this, and then I poke it in. You see how it just forms into a little cute flower? Just like that. So easy. So cute too. Okay, so I'm gonna just keep going, and again, I'm just gonna, like, you can just do the flowers first, or you can do all the leaves. So I'm just going to, okay, so that's 2 pieces, 3 pieces maybe, so. Okay, so I'm gonna do a few of these, and then, actually I wanna do her hair, because that's always so cute. So, just going to take some of this, a little stuck. Let's see. There we go. Whoop. Okay, so I can put one like here, and I just poke it in. Oh, so cute. Yeah. Okay, so do I want more on her hair? Yes. So I'm just gonna add more, and then I'll add some green to her hair. Yeah, it's just kind of randomly wherever it looks cute, or wherever. I just want to put some flowers. Okay. Okay, and then I'm gonna keep going with the flowers first. Well, actually, you know what? Let me do the leaves. Okay, so I'm gonna go based on my pattern here. Sorry, you can't see it, huh? So let me see. I want the smaller. I like to put the smaller leaves towards the top, and then bigger as it goes down. So I'm gonna go like maybe here. Poke, poke. So I'm gonna poke that in. There we go. And then I'm going to do the, oopsie, dropped another one. Okay, this way next. So this is where you have to be a little extra careful, because you'll end up hitting the stick a little bit. So again, we'll just go at an angle a little bit more. Can you see? I think so. Okay. And then we'll do the third one down here. Like that. Poke it in. And you can get so creative with these dolls. It's just so much fun. And they make such great gifts too. So I've got these 3, and then I'm gonna go on the back. You see, this way, so I'm gonna go this way. So I'm on her back now, so I'm adding the leaves. Okay, adding the leaves. Now that way, so I'm gonna go maybe, oh, this is smaller, so go here. Poking it in. Okay, and then this last piece here. Okay. Okay, so I got all my leaves in, and I'm just gonna have to show it to you at an angle, I think. Yeah. Really don't have a very good angle here. Okay. All right, so then I'm going to start adding more flowers and locks, and I'll just show you how I would do like a flower here. Just gonna show you a little flower here, like that. Here, sorry, moving back. Okay, so I got a flower here, and then like, let's say I want a nice little lock going down. Then I would kind of put it right next to the leaf and the flower like that, and then let the tip kind of drape down, and then hit this other pretty little leaf here. So let me just poke that in and see if I can show you what that looks like. Yeah, that's really pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna keep working on this, and then you keep working on yours, and then I'll show you kind of a progress, okay? All right. Okay, so I just wanted to show you my progress so far. So I got her hair. Sorry about the light. I've got one that's like right here, trying to make it bright enough. Okay, so you can see I kind of added a little on her sleeves. And then I started to add the locks and the leaves, or I think I already had the leaves on there. Okay, so I'm going to continue again so I can show you more, but all I'm doing is I'm just kind of taking these and just poking it in as I showed you, okay? So I'll do a little bit more, and then hopefully I'll be done shortly. Okay, so she's finally done. I'm so excited. Let me see if I can show you all around like that. Ta-da! And you can't see it down here, but she is balanced. So that's another thing you want to look for. And then one other thing, remember I told you here you wanted to not like have the stick all the way up? So she's actually angled nicely, but you can see how, because she's still flexible right up here, if you needed to have her more upright, you can actually use your needle and gently like poke this, like kind of like at an angle like this way, and then that would straighten her up a little bit. If you wanted her to be a little more like, say, tucked, you know, looking down a little bit like that, then you can just kind of angle the needle so that you sort of felt her down in that little section that we didn't have the stick in. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to have the bunny in a basket in a different video. I'll try to put a link somewhere you can find it. And oh, one other thing, if you did want to get a little wrist, the flower on the wrist, all you do is you just wrap it. Forgot to mention that. So you just take a little bit of this and you just wrap it around, and then you just poke away from the wire. Alrighty, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, let me know. I hope you enjoy making your beautiful earth angel. Yeah, have a magical day. Bye now.